So last night, Rachel Maddow interviewed presidential candidate Kristen Gillibrand on her show. She started by a short segment on her political history, going from a moderate position in the House to a more progressive, or as she called, progressive hero in the Senate. And then she asked her what made her shift her positions. And of course, and she answered, and she actually had some really good answers. Right. So what's the problem with this? Well, the problem is that she didn't ask anything about Goldman Sachs. And you're running as a progressive candidate for president. The most important question that I think a journalist should ask you is your history with Goldman Sachs. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about, of course, about her history. And this is, mind you, this is while she's in the Senate too. This isn't back when she was in the House. I'm talking, of course, in 2010. She proposed an amendment to deregulate derivatives. In 2011, she complained derivative regulations were making banks uncompetitive. And in 2013, her and 5 other Democratic senators wrote the Treasury Secretary, Jacob Lowe at the time, to delay cross-border derivative trading. And if you don't know about derivatives, they're literally the biggest reason, if that's the main reason why the economy crashed in 2008, because we didn't regulate derivatives. And there's a great article in the Week about this, and in Open Secrets, in 2018, she did receive $29,000 from Goldman Sachs, and to her, okay, so Rachel Maddow doesn't mention anything about this. And to Gillibrand's credit, her voting record is really progressive in the Senate. One of the most progressive voting records. The problem I have is that a lot of people look at Rachel Maddow as a progressive hero, or as a really good journalist, which, by the way, Rachel Maddow is brilliant, by the way. She's probably the most brilliant, actually the most brilliant person that is on the corporate media. But Rachel Maddow is a journalist, and her job is to hold people who have positions of power accountable. And I think that the tough question, the one that any journalist who has ethics would ask her, the number one question on that list would be her ties to Goldman Sachs, and to explain her positions on derivative trading. And so, what the fuck, Rachel? Why didn't you ask her that? I mean, is getting Gillibrand elected to be the presidential candidate more important than journalism? I mean, like, is it? It looks like to me that you're trying to get somebody who could be a corporate Democrat to be elected as a Democratic progressive presidential nominee. It's like as if you're trying to trick people into thinking that she is a progressive hero. Now, how can you disprove that? Well, then why don't you ask her the questions that you should ask her, which is, what is the deal with her and Goldman Sachs, and what is her position on derivatives now, and what is her view on Goldman Sachs and all the other banks that had a role in the financial collapse in 2008? Or put it simply, Rachel Maddow, why don't you ask her, do you think we should regulate derivatives? Just anything at all.